So, hello class. I'm not able to see any of you, but that's fine. How are you all?
Fine, sir.
Good, sir.
So, okay. What are you doing these days? Your exams are over. Waiting for the college to start. So, how are you spending your days? Is it very sad? Are you able to go out or all confined at home?
Confined at home, sir.
Mostly. So how do you
Yes, sir.
spend your day? Are you reading some exciting books?
Yes, sir.
Anything else like which you can share with others and me? Anyone who has done something exciting? Gayatri, you are saying something, but
I think like I personally have started taking a few online classes which are not in the area of economics because I found them interesting.
okay.
That's just me.
Anyone else? And how many of you have got your vaccine shots?
So I have got my first dose. Second dose is left.
Yes, sir. Even
So I've
mine.
got
Same
both
with
my
me.
doses.
Okay. How was your experience? Where did you go? Anyone went to a public hospital to get vaccine or mostly in private clinics?
I
Where
got
did
my
you all
second
go?
dose in a public hospital.
Public hospitals? Who is it?
Actually, a college, sir, national college. Sir.
Sorry, who is this? Can you please, because
So
I'm
my name
not
is
able to
Tanika.
track. Sorry,
So my name is Tanika.
Tanika. Yes. So where are you from, Tanika?
So I'm from Calcutta.
Calcutta. Okay. And so where did you go? You
I
went to.
got my first dose from a private hospital, but my second dose from a public hospital. So I
Okay.
went to this college near my house called National College. Got it
Okay.
done from there, so.
Which college?
National College.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay, great. National Medical, you mean?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. Yeah, great. Who else?
Our school arranged for a vaccination spot and everything, so I personally went through that channel
Okay,
for my first shot.
great. And Tanika, you had to pay for your vaccine when you went to a public facility,
No, sir.
and when you went to the private, you had to pay.
Yes, sir. For the first dose, I did.
And Gayatri, you said it is in the school.
Yes, sir. We had to pay for the vaccination. There
Okay.
was a fees.
Anyone else who is not yet eligible? Are you all eligible for vaccination?
Yeah, I think we all are.
Okay. It may not necessarily be the case, but yeah, if you are. So, who hasn't got vaccines yet? I see few names. Mohan, have you got your vaccine?
Yes, sir. I've got my first shot.
Where are you based, Mohan?
I'm from Bangalore, sir.
Bangalore. And where did you go?
Actually, there was a campaign conducted in my apartment, so we got our shots in my apartment itself.
Wow. Okay. Yes. And what about Varun?
Sir, I got my first shot, sir.
Okay. Where are you, Varun? Where are you located?
Sir, I am from Guntur city in Andhra Pradesh, sir.
Okay. And you went to a private clinic, or how did you do it?
I went to private clinics, Manipal hospitals.
Manipal Hospital. Okay. Arushi, what about you?
Sir, I got my first shot.
Okay. Great. And where are you based now?
I'm from Delhi.
Delhi? Okay. Great. So where did you get it?
I went to Medanta. It's a hospital in Gurgaon.
Sorry, Arushi, your voice is a bit low.
So am I audible now?
Better, yeah.
Yes, I went to Medanta. It's a hospital in Gurgaon.
Okay. So do you stay at Gurgaon? Like,
I kind of go back and forth.
okay. I'm just trying to put my earphone so that I can hear you better, and you would probably also be able to hear me better. Okay. Now, I'll ask you one question. You may choose to not answer, but if you can, it would be interesting. How much all of you had to pay for each shot?
So I had
Tanika
paid
said
900 rupees.
you, Tejas, where are you?
I am based in Kolkata, sir.
Kolkata. And you went to a
Sir, there was a camp in one college, so I went there, Bhawanipur College.
Bhavani College, and you had to pay 900. Who else paid more? Who had to pay more?
So I paid 1200, but I
Tanika,
got
you had.
Covaxin, so that was
Okay,
like the
12.
price in here.
Okay, and Arushi?
750.
So Arushi paid less than Tejas and Tanika. Gayatri, in the school?
Yeah, I think it was around 900 only.
Varun, any other prices? Anyone has paid different? Anything else? Mohan?
I mean, it's not a massive difference. I paid 800.
800, huh? And okay. So anyone else? Sarah, are you here?
Yes, sir. Sir, I paid 900 too.
900, yeah. Sarah, where are you now?
Sir, Delhi.
Delhi, okay. You went to a clinic?
Yes, sir. I went to a private hospital, Max.
Max, okay. And anyone else went to a public hospital?
So not a public hospital, but I got my first shot in a stadium.
In a
Stadium.
stadium. There was a camp organized in the stadium.
Yes, sir.
Who organized it?
The government.
Sorry?
The government.
Government organized. And how much did you pay?
Sir, I didn't have to pay anything.
Okay. Lavanya, where are you currently?
Lucknow.
Lucknow. So, okay. Anyone else had a different kind of experience, vaccination, different place, different prices?
Not a public hospital, sir, but a defense hospital.
Defense hospital. Is it Saloni?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Where are you based, and tell me about your experience.
So actually, I got the shot in Delhi because earlier my father was posted in Delhi, but now we are shifted to somewhere near Kargil.
Oh, okay. And you got the shot in Delhi. Huh? So,
yes, sir. So second one I'll be getting somewhere in Kargil,
Kargil.
and the first one I got in Delhi.
So how was your experience in the defense hospital?
So for us, it's always been good in the defense hospital. We have nice doctors and nurses, so there was no issue in discipline also.
Yeah. Okay. And how was the experience for others? Those who went to a public, I forgot who went to the stadium. Was it Lavanya?
Yes, sir.
How was your experience?
So the first I had booked my slots for 2 days, one for the opening and one for the day next after that. So the day when the slots opened on the opening day, it was all hassled and it was not in an orderly, in a systematic way. the second day was a little more systematic than the first. And people were just rushing in as if, even if they booked the slots, it was like people were rushing in that they'll miss us. If they don't rush in, they're going to miss the shot.
Those who went to private clinics, how was your experience? Were there a lot of rush, or you could do it in easily?
There was rush, but it was more or less smooth.
Anyone else? Gayatri, how was the experience in the school?
Okay, so our was actually based on like private partnership with our local hospitals. So the thing is, like, what they did was, for those who are a member, they got priority a bit more, because they were, if they came first, they ensure that we are pushed up above the list. But like others also, like for example, my aunt, she hadn't booked, but when they realized like they're still taking people without booking, so like it was even smooth for her. So, like, it was very orderly in our school.
Okay. Any other experience, Tanika, when you went to the public hospital second time? Why did you go to a public hospital second time when you had gone to a private the first time? Why? What made you choose that?
My father's friend, and like we had a group of 4-5 people who went together to the public hospital.
Okay.
I don't know the exact reason. It was just like that my father, let's just go there and get it done today. Like, it was an on-spot decision in the morning.
Okay.
But I think the private hospitals are more sorted than the public ones. Like, for the private hospital, I went in, I got vaccinated in 10 minutes, and then I had the observation period of 30 minutes and I left. But with the public hospital, I had to wait there for almost 3 hours.
Okay.
When I was the first one in the list, like I was the first one to get vaccinated over there.
Okay.
Because there was some other issue coming up.
Okay.
So I feel that it's easier to get in a private hospital. But
So, okay, good. So, this is the experience at the national level also, that there are so many price variations, right? Everyone is paying different prices for the vaccines. And then we see that in some public hospitals, because it is free, there are a lot of people coming and relatively rushed, so you need to wait a longer period. But then there are also other kinds of public systems, like what Saloni had experienced, defense. It's again a government system, though not public, it's government run system. And she had a very nice experience, very smooth experience. And she says that's always the case. So, there are so many issues involved in how services are delivered. But we, being from a relatively better off section of the society, when we go to a private clinic, we see that the experience is relatively smoother because there is lesser crowd. Whereas in public facilities, in general public facilities, there are always some bit of rush. But then many people in the country won't be able to afford, say, if they had to pay 850, 900, 1200 rupees. So basically, that's one of the interesting thing for us to observe here, that the public system which provides it for everyone is having a lot more people than they can probably manage at a time. So we'll look at some of these issues later. But what do you think, what could be the reasons why prices are very different at different places, different cities? What do you think? And different kinds of arrangements. Some it's charging 1200. One difference is straightforward. There is a Covaxin, there is a Covishield, two vaccines mainly. So that could be a reason for difference. But what could be other reasons of difference in prices that you have paid?
Maybe the availability of the number of vaccine in a particular state.
Okay. How does it create a difference in prices?
Lower supply will equal to higher prices.
Lower supply. So
It's
you
demand.
think, so basically you think that vaccine, so when there is a higher demand compared to the supply, prices might go up. Okay, any other idea, any other thoughts? Why could there be so much difference in prices?
Variation.
Sir,
There's
I think
also
another.
One by one. Maybe it would be better if you raise your hand and then speak. Gayatri, and then probably Varun, you wanted to say? Okay, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Gayatri and
Variation in
then
transportation costs.
transportation. So if it is far off place from the point of production or factory, it could be more higher. The price could be higher. Vishwa?
Yes, sir. I just wanted to say the same point that the transportation cost matters, and since you cannot have the trucks with oxygen tanks running at full speeds on the highways, they also have to run at a particular speed, so the fuel costs also adds up. So the further it is, the more cost it will be, and also the number of vehicles engaged in transporting these are also less, so the pressure on a particular a group of transport is more.
Gayatri, you had some other point?
I was talking about maintaining profit margins, because
Okay.
for private hospital it is very important to ensure that they have a profit, as it is due to the COVID and everything. They had to shut down and reduce a lot of departments and procedures. So these vaccinations have become another avenue of medication and revenue. So they need to ensure profit through these channels. So that's also one of the reasons why public hospitals and everything might not this thing, because they do not exactly have to worry about profits. For them, it is about public welfare. That's their motto. But privates, it's different.
So Vishwa, you have to react to Gayatri's point, or you want to make a separate point? You have some.
So I want to make a separate point.
Okay, then hold on for a while. Just hold on.
Okay, sir.
Anyone wants to react to what Gayatri said? She's saying that it could be essentially because private sector is making profits and they have to maintain a lot of profit margin, because during the pandemic their facilities were shut and they have suffered some losses. So this can be one reason for them, one avenue for them to make profit. Anyone wants to add or counter, or any other perspective wants to give?
Yes, sir. So it could be that they want, I mean, if they are charging like 900 or 1200 for a vaccine, it could also be because they need to pay their doctors and nurses.
Right.
Because during the pandemic, we also saw a strike by the nurses in between.
Right.
So
Because they
it
were
could
not
be
paid.
that as well.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Good point. Thank you. Gayatri and Saloni, very good point. Let's come back to Vishwa. Yes, Vishwa.
So I think another point could be a political aspects. A lot of since there were elections at the same time in many places going on, some politicians may have hoarded and wanted to supply it at free or lower costs to gain votes. So that could be a point.
So you predict that there could be a possibility that there were hoardings happening, not only related to elections, but for other reasons. Some politicians hoarded, or some business people could have hoarded, or some hospitals could have hoarded. I'm
Right,
not
sir.
ruling out that, but there could be several other possibilities. Okay, anyone wants to add any other reason? Okay, so thanks for your input. It has been a very important, interesting conversation for me. Who said 1200 she has to pay? He or she had to pay. I forgot your name. Sorry, I'm not good at names.
Sir, I had to pay Tanika.
Tanika, where you located? Where are you located?
So Calcutta.
You are in Calcutta. Okay.
Yes.
Anyone else in Calcutta? I think somebody else was also in Calcutta.
Yes, sir, I was in Calcutta.
Sorry.
I'm in Calcutta. Even I'm from
Dipanvita and
Calcutta.
Dipanvita and
Sir, I'm Tejas. I'm also in
Tejas
Calcutta.
also in Calcutta. Tejas, how much did you pay, or did you get vaccinated? How much did you pay?
I paid sir 900, sir. It was
900.
just before the center started procurement of vaccine.
And who else in Dipanvita said she was in Calcutta. Dipanvita, how much did you pay?
So 950.
950. Gayatri, you have your hand raised. You wanted to?
Yeah, even I am from Calcutta. I had to pay 900, but my mom had to pay like a bit higher.
Okay. How much? Any idea how much did she pay?
I'm not sure, but I think it was around the 1,000.
1,000. So, you know, it looks like a very compelling logic. Many of you said that it could be because of transport reasons, right? Far off places would need more natural that the trucks have to travel longer. That means more cost. So, but then we see that within the same city, Tanika, I'm coming to you. Within the same city, people are paying differential prices. It could be because of two different vaccines, but then there are so many prices. So there are things which are not only cost related. Tanika, you wanted to say something here?
Yeah, so actually, I think that the difference in like the major difference that I have 400 rupees different from Tejas and the other friend. I'm sorry, I don't know your name, but it's because I got Covaxin. They must have got Covishield now, because like the prices for both the vaccines are different. Like if I'm not wrong, in Calcutta, Covaxin is 1250 and Covishield is 850.
So we didn't see two prices, Tanika. There were so many prices. Na? So if there were two vaccines, it could have been two prices. That is one factor, but I'm saying there are other reasons why prices are varying. And one reason could be that maybe vaccine, those who are inoculating the private hospitals, camps, when there are for-profit hospitals, say Max or say the Vedanta or Medanta, they are for profit, but then some people went through camps which are more of voluntary in nature. So maybe the extent of profit they are making could be very different. I'm just making a hypothesis here. I'm not saying this for sure. Okay, but I think we just wanted to draw home this point that prices could be varying for reasons which are very different. And it is, of course, in many cases it is driven by demand, but in case of vaccines, we see that vaccine prices may not respond to demands as much in the recent times. There are several reasons for them. There are regulations and all that, but there was some effort to seal vaccine prices. So, okay, now I'll try to take you through some. We'll go into our understanding of vaccines and access to vaccine. So, and before, are you all able to see my slides? The PPT you see? Huh?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Did you see this Amul ad?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So
I haven't seen the original ad, if that's what you're asking.
Original ad, yeah. I've shared it many newspapers and other hoardings, but I thought it's quite like all as they have been doing for last 30 years. Very interesting, nice, and real cartoon. So it was sort of celebrating the vaccine discoveries and inoculation drives that we had. So now let us go from your personal experience. Let us try to go into your say, what is your take about overall vaccination in the country? What is happening at the national level? Are we able to vaccine enough number of people? Is it going at a adequate pace? When do you think we'll get vaccinated? What is your take? Nationally, what do you see? What do you read in newspapers or in TV channels or websites? Vishwa, you want to add something?
Yes, sir. To the question that you just asked, first of all, sir, I think that there was a lack of preparedness. There was lack of adequate health infrastructure because the number of doctors and nurses per thousand people is well below the WHO levels. So there was lack of preparedness by India's side as well, and also there was false spread of hope and unrealistic target setting by the government because they were announcing that we are going.
Wait, Vishwa, wait. Others, can you please switch off your speakers? Can you mute yourselves? Yeah, we'll have hands raised and speak one by one. Helps us. Yes. Vishwa, go ahead.
So yes, sir. There was, I think, a false spread of hope or unrealistic target setting by the government because they were announcing that we are going to vaccinate so many people. I don't know the exact number, but the production capacities of both Serum and Bharat Biotech was very less than that. So there was very unrealistic target setting, and also there was an absence of something like a NHS 111 or a US 911. So there was a lot of chaos among the people, like they did not know what to do. Also there was also I think that there was during the first wave the government had told that they are first going to vaccinate all the old people, but when it came down to this which was okay in the first wave because there were not many mutations, but when it came down to the second wave and when everybody could be contracted with the vaccine, even the smaller age group were vulnerable. I think the government should have first vaccinated the working population, because only restricting to the old people, there were even the old people were being accompanied by the younger ones to the vaccination centers, and there was overcrowding there. So I think there was no proper planning.
Very good points, important observations. I may not get the sequence right who's wanted to speak first, but Tanika, and then Shara, and then Arushi. Yes.
Thank you, sir. So I feel that in the starting, when like, especially in Calcutta, I observed that the people who can pay, they are getting their vaccinations done very easily. Like you happily pay and you get a vaccination and you're like done for like 3-4 months. But those who are going to the government hospitals, sir, they are suffering so much because like I know my mate, she used to go and wait in line for hours, but still she was not vaccinated. And then this process would continue for a few days until like they would reach a point where there would be fights and everything. And so in Calcutta, there are areas who still haven't received vaccine.
There are people who have not.
Yeah, people are coming from those rural areas towards Calcutta to get vaccinated, but again they aren't being able to because of the lack of vaccines. Apparently.
Essentially, both of you are saying that there are differences in the experience. Some people are getting it when you pay, you get.
Yes,
there is a lot of lack of planning. Sara, and then Arushi, and then Lavanya.
Yes, sir. Sir, I think everyone covered most of the points. But, sir, in like the government said that in January, 180 million doses were administered, and like it felt more of a brag. But considering the population of India, that can only cover like 16 to 17% of the population. Also, the government has been saying that India has the largest vaccination drive in the world. But again, considering the population, I think it should not be something that should be celebrated, but it adds more of a responsibility towards the government. So yeah.
We'll see some of these points. I will try to illustrate. Very good points, all of you. Arushi, very quickly, and then Lavanya. Yeah.
About the question you asked about the vaccination rate.
Yeah.
So the government was saying that they want to vaccinate our population by December 31st, I guess. So according to that, I read an article a couple of days back which said we should be vaccinating like 5 to 6 million per day. But at the moment, we're at about 3 to 4 million. So we're not nearly fast enough in vaccinating.
we'll try to find out why this is happening, why our rates are low, compared to our targets. Yes, but Lavanya, yeah.
Yes, sir. So initially, people were a lot skeptical to be vaccinated because of the symptoms, and they felt that the vaccination is not safe enough until it's further approved by authorities. But then, as time passed by, people started getting vaccinations. But sir, then it also depends on the classes of the people. For example, the high level or the middle classes are still getting vaccinated, but then the poor section of the society are a lot more skeptical to be vaccinated, and they are afraid of the symptoms. And sir, it's like all the working people that come to the house.
There is a lot of noise at somebody's end. Can you please mute others?
The maids, the gardeners are really scared of being vaccinated. They are afraid of the symptoms, and so they being a large member of the society, they carry like 20-30% of the society. They go to homes of they go to families, they work there, they're involved, they connect with people. So it's really important for the government to spread awareness. The government is spreading awareness, but it's important to get deep inside the roots and tell them that it's of utmost important and for the safety, of course, to get vaccinated.
I think, Lavanya, you made a very, very important point. We'll come, if we have time, we'll come to this point towards the end of our discussion today. Why people are not getting vaccinated? What are their fears? How to overcome this? Gayatri wanted to say something?
Okay. I just wanted to add on to that and speak about lack of information and information disfailure, because most of these information, especially about vaccination camps and everything, is mostly obtained through internet and the news app like Arigyu Setu and everything. Those ensure we know where the camps and everything is. So most of the rural people, they do not exactly have complete access to these kind of stuff. So that's why I wanted our information discrepancy.
So very, I think very important points. There are rural-urban disparities. There are disparities between age groups. There are disparities between income groups, occupation, and it has its implication. And more or less, if all of us do not get vaccinated, we may not be able to overcome the epidemic or pandemic that we are facing currently. So, okay, I'll come to some of this, but important conversation we had. What I would do in the coming 15-20 minutes, I had a longer presentation in mind, but the discussion went really well. So what I'm going to do is give you some glimpse of the reasons why there are these inequalities. And I'll talk about inequalities across countries and regions. And that will also give us a hint of why our vaccination rates are slower than other countries. So we know what is vaccine, what is vaccination, what is immunization. Anyone knows the difference between vaccination and immunization?
Sir, can you repeat?
So these words are used interchangeably: vaccination and immunization. Do you relate? Are you able to distinguish between the two terms?
Yes, sir.
What is the difference?
So vaccination is basically it is done orally or from somebody outside, like from a needle. But immunization is natural in the body, like it's a natural way to fight with the diseases.
So immunity as a process is a natural process within the body and to fight diseases. Now, vaccination is like you said rightly, it's a external process. vaccination leads to immunity. So immunization is an outcome of vaccination. We get ourselves vaccinated so that we develop immunity. Now, it may not be the case that everyone vaccinated is immunized. So that point we need to keep in mind. That's what this vaccine efficacy thing comes in, that some are saying Covaxin is 57% efficacious. Someone is saying Covishield is more efficacious. There are vaccines coming out of Cuba which are 95% efficacious. There are other. So there is a stable internal mechanism within the body that vaccination triggers. There is a process of immunity, but everyone may not be immunized. That's a simple point I wanted to make. Now, let us look at who are getting vaccinated, who are not. So there are two graphs here. Just pay a bit of attention. Let us look at the graph at the bottom first. People fully vaccinated, the percentage of people, and we have the continents listed here and the world average. What do you observe? These are the numbers, are percentage of people who are fully vaccinated.
So it's directly proportional to the richness of the country.
On the continent side, the bottom one?
Yeah.
The richer continent. Sorry?
It also depends on the population of the countries. Like China and India have a huge population and the constituent in Asia. I mean, the population of Uttar Pradesh is more than the entire country of Belgium, so it also depends on that.
UP's population is more than even Germany, UK, France, Spain.
Yes, so that's what I'm saying.
Yes, it depends on population, no doubt. But then, is it the case that all the populous countries are, is it only population? There are other reasons than population. Europe is more densely populated than some parts of the South America, right? But then Europe has double the vaccination rate. European Union has even more than Europe. North America is, of course, very, very highly vaccinated. But what could be the reasons? And if you look at the graph on the left side, where the x-axis is, shall I make it full screen? Then maybe, yeah. So the x-axis is the per capita income in terms of dollar, and this is purchasing power parity. So, and you see vaccine doses per 100 people. There is a very strong positive correlation between income and vaccination. Why? What could be the reason? Why richer people are, richer countries are able to, richer regions are able to get themselves vaccinated and others are not? Any idea why this is so? Anyone?
So possibly they could increase the production rate.
They couldn't? They couldn't increase the production. So you think it could be because of supplies? Any other reason?
So I think it's
same principle. Raise your hand, and whoever has raised first, please speak. I'm not able to see the team. Otherwise, I have to make it minimum. So many hands. Yes, very quickly. Gayatri.
I think it's also because like richer countries had more, was able to maintain and ensure that all their hospital chains and everything was up to function and everything. Because what happened in India was that the hospital chain and like the medical
so you think that it is more on the supply side, the delivery of vaccines. So you have vaccines, but our hospital networks were. Any other thoughts?
Yes,
sir.
This one, yeah.
Yeah, go on.
Quickly,
Okay, sir, I also think that apart from the points that they already told, it could also be related to the literacy levels, as we can see that the North American and European countries have higher literacy rate. So the people's So the population's approach towards health and sanitation is more, so they are more
So you
cooperative.
think that people are not taking vaccination because they are not informed well. Huh?
Yeah,
that
they
could
are.
be one reason. Yeah, Arushi.
Yes,
Sorry,
sir.
I'm rushing a bit here. Huh.
Yes, sir. So these richer countries, they're able to afford vaccines. Plus, like companies like Pfizer, so or AstraZeneca, they have they developed the vaccine and then they have patent rights to the vaccine, and they don't, and so
Very good
therefore
point.
we are not able to
We'll come
produce it in
to
India or say
yes.
Africa.
Very good point, Arushi. All of you, are you able to relate to the point Arushi is making? Because that would be one of my main arguments. I'll develop it further. But yeah, let's go ahead. If anyone else doesn't have anything to add here, it could be other reasons than only our health system was equipped or not, whether people are educated or not. We'll talk about this. So there is this phenomenon that happened during the vaccine production, initial months of vaccine discovery and production. Look at the graph on the top. It shows how many. So say in a country, you need, say, most of the vaccines are double. You need 2 doses of the vaccines to get yourself completely vaccinated. So if there are, say, 1 crore people in the country, adult people, say for the time being, 1 crore adult people, you need 2 crore vaccines at least. And then there would be some wastages, say 10-15%, say 20% wastage. So you will need 2.4 crore vaccines for a population of adult population of 1 crore. Now look at what EU, UK, US, some countries have done. EU has procured 5 times their requirements. This is not 5 times the population, but 5 times the requirement. So if you need 2.4 crore vaccines, you have actually procured 5 times of that 2.4, 4.93, which is roughly, say, 5 times. So it's like 120 crores you have procured. 12 crores you have procured. Whereas the African Union, say countries like India, India is a major producer of vaccines in the world, but yet India could only manage to procure 0.5% of its requirement. Pakistan 0.1%, African Union 0.3%, 3 times, so 1/3 of their requirement. Latin America without Brazil is less than 30. There are many ways, many reasons why this has happened. So look at the cartoon here. I have drawn something to roughly demonstrate the reasons why. One major reason is the prices that the vaccine companies are charging. They remain unaffordable to many countries. It's the high income country who are able to pay these prices. In fact, they have bargained and paid higher prices to get something called the advanced marketing commitment. So even if vaccines are not in the market, they are producing it. Countries like US and Canada, EU, regions like EU have gone in to the offices of these big vaccine companies and have got advanced commitments. As a result, these countries are in a better position to access vaccines compared to many others. Now, there are, like one of you said, very rightly said, that there are intellectual property right issues. So, who has discovered the Covishield vaccine? Any idea? Which institute? Where did it come through? Covishield is one of the biggest vaccines that, in supply in India. Where did it come from? Any clue, anyone?
It's the Serum Institute, right?
Serum Institute is producing it in India.
Yeah.
Where did it come from? There was a parent company who has given Serum Institute the right to produce
Sir,
that.
AstraZeneca.
AstraZeneca.
Oxford.
Yes, AstraZeneca is the company who has the right to produce that vaccine, and it gives that right to different companies within the country. But who discovered the vaccine? Where did the research happen?
Oxford University.
Oxford University. The research happened in Oxford University, and Oxford University had to give that right to AstraZeneca. We'll come to this interesting case where how that leads to. So there is one very critical point why our vaccine production is slow, because the AstraZeneca has not given the license to anyone else to produce this many vaccines. It has been given to only Serum Institute. And Serum Institute, like any other company, is one of the biggest vaccine manufacturers in the world, yet it will fall short of supply. There is one clause in the WTO, World Trade Organization, which is called compulsory licensing. The country government could have given the license to other companies in the country. But because of the nature of contract between AstraZeneca and the Serum Institute, we cannot give the license to other companies to produce it. Covaxin is being produced by other companies now, apart from Bharat Biotech. So these are some, that's how this, the vaccine delivery mechanism gets slowed, prices are higher. I wanted to come to the process of vaccine discovery, but we don't have as much time. We had a very nice discussion, but I'll come to one crucial point related to what we were discussing. See, the vaccine, Oxford vaccine, was discovered in a public research institute funded by public money. Do you know Bill Gates? All of you might be knowing Bill Gates, right? Yeah. So apart from owning Microsoft and having high stake in Microsoft, Bill and Melinda Gates have a foundation which provides grants to various countries, governments, or NGOs to improve access to health. There's this interesting thing that happened. When Oxford General Institute director, in a very short period of time, the vaccine got discovered. In the earlier phases, vaccine discovery took many, many years. In case of COVID, you will see here in the bottom, in a very short period, few months time, vaccine got discovered. One of the basic ingredient that is needed is the genome sequence, the RNA, how the RNA is shaped and constructed. That came from the institute in China who were researching on coronaviruses. And it was a public property. They opened it to everyone so that so many companies can use it to produce, research institute can use it to produce that vaccine. So through that cooperative mechanism, collective mechanism, with public investment, Oxford discovered the vaccine. It's a very advanced, nice technology. And rightly, the director of Oxford General Institute wanted to make this, the vaccine candidate, put it in public domain so that everyone can use it, replicate it, and overcome this crisis, produce more vaccines. What Gates Foundation did, it intervened and stopped the General Institute director to make it public. Rather, it forced Oxford to sell exclusive right to the company, one of the bigger multinational vaccine company, AstraZeneca. Now AstraZeneca has an exclusive right to produce that vaccine. It can give those rights to some other country. That's how profits are made in vaccination. That now you have intellectual property right on it. You have the trade secret. I'm not going into the details of this, but through those mechanisms, you are creating monopolies so that you can charge higher prices, which becomes unaffordable. Look at the graph here in the bottom. So this gray, deeper gray, is the public investment in some of these biggest vaccine companies in the world for COVID vaccines. It's largely through public investment that the vaccine discoveries are taking place. It's our money, people's money, people from developed and developing countries, their tax money goes into the discovery or research on the vaccine. Sometimes countries are even, governments are supporting vaccine manufacturers to produce vaccines. Yet, companies are charging very, very high prices. It's largely through so our money going into public-private profit. To counter this, some countries have come together in the world. They are asking for, there was a proposal to WTO, World Trade Organization, from India and South Africa, asking for waiver of intellectual property monopolies during the times of COVID. So there should not be these monopolies, is the demand of these countries. The irony is, while many countries have supported India and South Africa's claim, and they're jointly asking WTO to waive IPR, within the country, in our own Supreme Court, the India government said that we cannot give compulsory licensing for Covishield vaccine because that will hamper the profitability of companies. That is the contradiction of the world we are living in. I'll leave you with this slide. There are many issues in the world that we are facing. Vaccines may not be able to solve those issues. There are issues of starvation, poverty, unemployment. All of them have been affected by the pandemic for various reasons. And we have to find solution to those problems also. So unregulated profit, supernormal profit becomes a deterrent to not only access to vaccine, but many other basic services that the majority of the people of the world need. And we need to find collective solutions for these problems, global problems. I'll stop here. Okay, the last point in 2 minutes, because this had been a major, very important insight one of you made. The point about, before going into any questions, any doubts, any thoughts? We have very little time, but you had a lot of discussion, but any question and comments on what I said, I presented?
Sir, about the monopoly, so they are doing that, but why don't they realize that if they do monopolize the vaccine and restrict access, the virus will just mutate and their monopoly will, there's no point of their vaccine anymore.
Cannot agree more with you, Arushi. It is interesting, even the corporate entities. So there was this big corporate conglomeration who said that we need something around $27 billion to vaccinate everyone. But if we don't vaccinate, any idea what would be the cost to the world? The world economy has shrunk in the time of pandemic. And if we are not able to overcome the pandemic, there would be enormous danger to the lives of people, like you said, but also the economy would suffer. And eventually profitability of every company, every entity will suffer. The humanity would suffer. So this is definitely counterproductive. And the cost of not giving vaccines to everyone is 168 times than the cost of vaccinating it. one of the estimates suggests. We need more vaccines, definitely. Anyone else?
Sir, I'll just like to add on to what you just said for the
Yes.
last slide, that spare time to develop vaccines against starvation, poverty, and unemployment. So,
Lavanya, don't take that literally. There
no,
cannot be
no.
vaccines.
Obviously. No, I'm just saying, I'm just adding on to what you just said right now, that it's important to, vaccinate everybody, because even I read somewhere that if vaccination does not take place for the pandemic that happened, the medical costs are going to rise up by 16%.
Yes.
Medical expenditure. So obviously, if the vaccination does not take place, then the poor are going to get poorer and enter chronic poverty.
Deaths, so many deaths could have been averted if we could vaccinate people in time, and that has huge cost, economic cost, social cost. It's not only about medical cost. Of course, medical cost is very, very crucial, but lives are priceless. We are losing lives, and we continue to suffer from the fear. Last point, but Lalit, is it okay we take 2 more minutes?
Sure.
So on the vaccine hesitancy, why do you think people are hesitant to give vaccines, take vaccines, shots? Any quick observation?
Misinformation.
Misinformation.
Like on WhatsApp, so there's a lot of rumors that circulate, and especially our older population, they read those messages, and like they're like a family friend. So she read something about Covaxin being way better than Covishield on WhatsApp, and then she decided to wait like 3 hours in line just for the Covaxin, and ended up exposed to COVID-19, and she did get it. So this is
very, very, very sad story. Yeah, information, very crucial, correct information. Anyone wants to add something?
So, fear.
Lavanya, wait, because Ananta is speaking for the first time. Let us give him a chance. Yes, go ahead, please.
So, like, what about the fear of experiencing a lot of side effects?
Fear, yes, that's a very important point. Lavanya?
So the media has been displaying images that people are dying even after getting 2 doses of vaccination, but then they're creating fear amongst the news watchers and amongst the people, but then they do not realize that the people who are dying after the second vaccination are doctors whose immunity is very low after the vaccination, but they have to be on duty.
And continuous exposure to the virus.
Yes, sir.
Vishwa, very quick point, very quickly, because I need
Yes,
2
sir.
minutes to summarize.
Yeah, sir.
Vishwa and
Also,
Sara, yes.
some group of people also follow their celebrities or their role models, and what they do for themselves. So they sometimes the models, for money, they endorse something and show something else. So that is what may also affect the interest.
Yes, of course. Sara.
Sir, in the rural parts of India, people believe that they're already immune to every disease that exists because they claim that they've never had fever and stuff. So they think that they're already immune to the COVID-19.
That thinking is very much there. Okay, so sorry, we cannot extend this further, but very fascinating discussion. I'll just, on the vaccine hesitancy thing, I'll just make some observations and we would close. One thing is, the first thing to understand health is that the role of trust is very crucial. We go to a doctor because we trust it to do good. The state has not been able to build the trust or its own credibility related to the vaccines. When it rushed, when it said we'll vaccinate everyone very quickly, our Covaxin will be available by 15th August, the Covaxin is completely safe, whereas trials had not happened yet. So it is always important to give the correct information, not be unrealistically optimistic. Don't rush. Do your diligence, due diligence processes very carefully. I skipped that, but there are 6 stages of vaccine production. There are several levels of clinical trial that needs to be done before you can vaccinate the entire population. There was no time for all of this, but then we should have been very cautious in propagating something. We should have taken smaller steps and not rush much. One point. Other thing is, when we communicate to people, we are not trying as a state, as governments. It's always important to understand people's perspective, and then try to have a dialogue, conversation with them. It is only through conversation that you can clear doubts. Many civil society organizations are today having conversations with people, trying to help them understand the importance of vaccine. Do not think that the people, the rural people, the slum dwellers, they are understanding that they're relatively more immune to the disease is completely incorrect. They are probably better placed in terms of their own internal immunity. But that doesn't mean that they don't need the vaccine. And they need it. There are many challenges. Who can afford in this pandemic, when you have lost livelihood so much, who can afford and stand in the queue for 3, 4, 5 hours and lose a day's wage and get herself or himself vaccinated? You need to bring the vaccine to people, talk to them. Have many of you had in your own colonies, you had vaccination drives, you said. But for the slums, there had never been any vaccination drive in the slums. So government needs to take up this initiative, produce more vaccines, give vaccine rights to other companies so that the production can be ramped up. We don't have other vaccines, though there are many other vaccines that have been approved. They have not been supplied because they are already booked. They are supplied to other countries. So we need to ramp up our own production and talk to people, try to win their trust, dispel all the misinformation through careful conversation with people. Hatred, misinformation are always detrimental to health of the people. There are sections of the society who already feel marginalized from the current dispensation. We need to bring all of them together. Then only you can have a safe COVID-free world. Any last minute observation, or we'll close here? We have overshoot 5 minutes, but I think we had good conversation. So I'm very happy for that you all engaged so well. All the best for your endeavor, your journey for the BA Econ course here at JHU, and hopefully we'll meet soon in physical places in a few months down the line.
Thank you.
Take care. All
Thank
the
you,
best.
sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Hope you had liked the conversation and learned through this. Okay, take care. Bye. Bye.
Thank you, sir.